Cheat Code. Support Strategist. By Clouds. My Head in the Clouds, Not Coming Down. On AO3. Chapter 72. Damage Control. The fire alarm was really annoying. Tomura had just wanted to buy a stupid game, but in addition to being loud, the alarm meant that the workers were shutting down the stores and sweeping everyone out. There probably wasn't even a fire. It was most likely just a bunch of dumb kids who pulled the fire alarm to be funny. It was pissing him off. Tomura shoved his hands in his pocket and kept his head down as he made his way towards the door. He wouldn't be getting this game today, so there wasn't any point in sticking around until the fire department decided to show up and investigate. He better be getting back to the league anyways, even if, for the new push of recruitments left a bad taste in his mouth. All for One was going to do whatever he wanted anyways, so what was even the point in Tomura pretending he had a say in any of it? There was a commotion as someone forced their way into the store, and Tomura barely had any time to recognize Todoroki before he was grabbed by the arm and dragged behind one of the shelves. Are you really attacking us right now? Seriously, if you are, I swear to God I will. What? Tomura yanked his arm away and looked at Todoroki in disbelief. I'm not. What are you even talking about? I'm just here to get a stupid game. Todoroki narrowed his eyes. So you and your little gang aren't here to target our class? I'm the only one here, you idiot. Tomura snapped. Well, unless that little creep. No, we agreed. No spoilers. Whatever. Why in the world would I be attacking you? I didn't even know you'd be here. Oh, thank God. Immediately, Todoroki deflated in relief. Then you need to get out of here. Somehow Cheat Code caught sight of you on the cameras and everyone thinks it's going to turn into another USJ. The heroes are already on their way. Mineta fumed slightly as Kaminari listened badly to Uraraka's report. What did that stupid gaming geek think he was doing? Launching an attack just days before the actual attack they had planned? He was going to show their card and ruin everything. Mineta seriously had no idea what All for One saw in him anyways. Beyond the destructive quirk, he had never really did anything. He didn't deserve to be Sensei's successor. Uraraka disappeared and Kaminari's hand sparked nervously. Do you really think we're gonna have to fight again? Last time I ended up useless. Why would the League attack now? Mineta forced himself to stay in character. Our class totally isn't ready. Nothing was ready. The timing was totally off. If Shigaraki actually attacked now. Wait, did the idiot actually plan this? Or did he just get angry and decided to dust someone just because? Of course he couldn't kill someone when it really mattered. But when it messed up all their plans, it was no big deal. That guy was such a child sometimes, seriously. He followed a step behind Kaminari until they ran into a group of people that was large enough for Mineta to pretend he had just gotten separated in the crowd. Would they ever be able to attack the camp after this? Or worse, would this just make the League a laughing stock? They already had one failed attack under their belts thanks to Cheat Code, but if word got to the media and Shigaraki was here and pretty much no damage was done, it would make it seem like they weren't dangerous at all. They couldn't afford that. Not when they were just barely seeing the recruitment results from their alliances with Spinner. Mineta pulled out his phone and almost did a double take when he saw that Shinso had added someone named Cheat Code to the chat. He had Cheat Code's number now. He shook his head. He'd figured out how to use that to his advantage later. The important part was that he had confirmed that Shinso was close to Cheat Code, and he'd be able to know the hero's next move if he kept an eye on the chat. For now, he just had to make sure that he was on the same page with the rest of the League. Ah, yes, Trapper, Kirigiri answered quickly, thankfully. I thought you were simply maintaining your cover today. That's what I thought as well, Mineta hissed. But apparently Sensei's little brat had other plans. Did you know the League is attacking the mall today? There. Whoa. Telltale silence on the other end of the phone for a long moment. I had not been made aware. No. I thought young Tomura was simply on a walk to clear his head. Yeah? Mineta scowled. Well, apparently he got himself spotted, and now my entire class is preparing for USJ Take 2. This is unfortunate timing, Kirigiri said carefully. I will have to discuss this with young Master Tomura. There's not a whole lot of time for that, Mineta cut him off. Right now we need to focus on damage control. Like you said, we can't afford to show our hand. But we also can't afford to not attack, because then it'll look like we're nothing but cowards running away from the heroes. Ah, Kirigiri's voice was grim. So we have been caught in a catch-20, too. Mineta frowned thoughtfully. Not necessarily. It isn't the best, but there still might be a way to turn this to our advantage. We have new recruits for a training camp, right? Assuming Tomura approves it, then yes, Kirigiri replied. Well, considering this whole fiasco is his fault, then he's gonna have to. Mineta rolled his eyes. Get yourself and Spinner over here. They shouldn't give them any new information, and there isn't enough of my class around that he should have plenty of false heroes to choose from. If we're lucky, no one will suspect two attacks so close together, and we could use this as camouflage on our next move. A solid strategy, young trapper, Kirigiri said smoothly. Sensei will be proud. Mineta growled as he hung up and ran to catch up with Kaminari. He better be. Todoroki kept a bit of distance between him and Shigaraki as they made their way out of the store. On the one hand, he was really glad that they weren't being attacked right now, but on the other, he was also terrified that Shigaraki wasn't going to get out of this, and that scared him. He was supposed to be a hero. He shouldn't even be considering letting a villain like Shigaraki escape, but much less helping him. He should have immediately let his classmates know where to find him and corner him together, or even just trap him in an ice cube immediately. So why was he giving him a chance to run? Despite everything he knew he should do, all he did when they got into the hall was nod and start walking in the opposite direction. If it had been an actual attack, then he would have fought him, right? He hoped so, at least. That's what being a hero is all about, but still, why had his first instinct been to warn the villain instead of capture him? The game store they were in was on the second floor. With mass evacuation from the fire alarm, there was not a lot of people crowding around the stairs and escalators waiting to get down. According to Uraraka, their class had been authorized to help with evacuation, so it might be good to make a slide down to the first level to help with the bottleneck. There wasn't any real rush to get out, since this was just a big misunderstanding and not an actual villain attack. But he didn't really have a way to communicate that to everyone, and even if he did, how was he supposed to explain how he knew? He didn't really know the words to describe his weird relationship to his co-streamer, and if he had said that Shigaraki had told him that it wasn't a real attack, his classmates would just get the wrong idea. No, the best strategy when things went wrong in a game was to keep following the rules of the current quest until things calmed down a little more, which would happen as soon as Shigaraki left and everyone realized that there wasn't any real danger. Suddenly, Shota heard screaming in the plaza down below. The screams were loud enough that he could hear them above the sound of alarms, so he ran to the balcony just in time to see a lizard man with a katana crawling out of the smoke portal and stuck himself to the fountain. The portal. That was Kirigiri. If Kirigiri was here, that meant Shigaraki lied. He didn't know why the realization left him feeling nauseous. Of course Shigaraki was gonna lie. He was a villain. That's what he did. Shoto really didn't have any right to be surprised. God, he was such an idiot! Shoto's face hardened, and he rolled around, ice already coating his arm as he prepares to encase Shigaraki in an instant glider, only to be distracted by more screams, and railing on the balcony, suddenly disintegrating into dust. Everyone who had been leaning against it, and Shota had been screaming and had to jump back to avoid falling, but of course, not everyone was fast enough. Shoto lead into action, jumping off the balcony as a sheet of ice exploded out from his right foot and created a ledge to catch everyone who had fallen. He slid along the ice, building underneath him as he went. When he did get to the main level, he glided to stop and took a quick moment to look around to make sure everyone he saved was alright. Then immediately looked up to glare at Shigaraki before stopping cold. Shigaraki looked horrified. His hands were grasping in midair, and Shota could just imagine him running to the railing just like everyone else had and absently gripping the metal with all 5 fingers. His eyes were blown wide, glued to the portal in barely concealed panic, and Shota swallowed as a horrible realization hit him. Shigaraki didn't know. I just want my trauma boys to be happy. Is that too much to ask for? Cheat Code Support Strategist isn't about cheat code anymore. I don't give a shit about Midoriya right now. I care about my trauma boys. My trauma boys. Shigaraki and Todoroki. I want my found family trauma to be okay. Okay? That's all I want. And I really don't want this to end in, like, Shigaraki being in jail or something. I mean, he deserves it. He should be in jail. But at the same time, like, trauma boys. Dude, it's absolutely hilarious how a fanfic could make me become an apologist. Ooh, I said it. No, but this is very interesting. Okay, so they're going into the attack route. That means everyone is gonna think, like, you know, Shigaraki did this and blah, blah, blah. Todoroki knows the real reason, and thankfully Todoroki is smart enough to not, like, actually say it, you know? It's interesting indeed, you know? But, wow, okay. That is... I wonder when Shigaraki is going to start helping the heroes. And I wonder if it's going to be like, I feel like it's going to be via Todoroki being like, hey, we're going to do this. Don't tell anyone I told you. And also, don't trust Mineta. Peace out, bitches. Because I feel like that's where we're going. Shigaraki's having these moments of like, okay, I want to escape. I don't want to be a villain, right? So soon enough, he's going to start, you know, helping out Todoroki because, you know, Todoroki right now is his only support, right? That isn't linked to his abuser, right? When you have a support system, right, and they're not linked to your abuser, you tend to really hold on to that, at least in my case. Ooh, maybe that was a little too personal. Oh well. I'm not re-recording the outro. I'm literally a couple minutes before I have to upload this, but you tend to like lash into the people who aren't linked to, you know, your abuser, your manipulator. That's a better word. To your manipulator. You tend to hold on to those people a lot more. In my case, you know, obviously I to online friends because they had no connections to my manipulator. To that one friend who, although had connections to my manipulator, wasn't controlled by my manipulator. To my ex at the time, who wasn't even friends with my manipulator. You know, like, you tend to hold on to those supports who aren't close to your manipulator when you finally start to realize I'm being manipulated in a way to try to get out of the manipulation. So I feel like Shigaraki is going to start helping Todoroki a whole lot more, and I really want to see them happy. I just want to see my trauma boys happy, and I'm pretty sure you guys also want that. I think it's a mutual thing between all parties involved. But yeah, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my socials and Discord server is down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.